Welcome to Fun Facts Daily, your source for just the good stuff. Monday through Friday, we're bringing fun facts and news you can use, all carefully curated to uplift and inform. So give yourself a break, relax, and learn something awesome in just a few minutes every day. Hi everyone, I'm Kyle Wood. Today we'll be learning all about ancient Rome, the empire known for its ingenious engineers, powerful armies, and incredible architecture that still stands today. But before we get into the facts, let's warm up our brains with a little challenge to see if you can tell fact from fiction. Consider this. We often hear about the excessive feasts and banquets of the wealthy Romans. It's a common belief that they built special rooms called vomitoriums specifically for the purpose of purging during a meal so they could return to the feast and eat even more. What do you think? Is that an actual fact, a testament to Roman gluttony, or do you find it a little hard to swallow? We'll find out at the end of the episode. Now for your word of the day. Our word for today is Senate, S-E-N-A-T-E. The Senate was the primary governing body of ancient Rome. In the Roman Republic, it was arguably the most powerful institution, controlling the state's finances, administration, and foreign policy. Composed of the most influential and experienced men from the elite families, serving in the Senate was the highest aspiration for any Roman politician. Even after the Republic fell and emperors took power, the Senate continued to exist as a prestigious, though less powerful, institution. The origin of the word tells you everything you need to know about what the Romans valued in their leaders. The Latin word senatus comes directly from the word senex, which means old man. The Senate was quite literally a council of elders. The Romans had a deep-seated belief that wisdom, authority, and fitness to govern were qualities that came with age and experience. It was the elder statesmen, the patriarchs of Roman society, who were trusted to lead. The legacy of the Roman Senate is so powerful that its name and structure are fundamental parts of many governments around the world today. The founders of the United States, for example, were deeply inspired by the Roman Republic and intentionally created their own Senate. The American system, with a Senate and a House of Representatives, is a form of bicameral legislature, an idea with roots in Rome's use of different assemblies for different classes of citizens. The U.S. Senate was designed to be a more deliberative and stable body, much like its Roman predecessor, providing a check on the immediate passions of the populace. So when we see our modern American senators debating the merits of different laws and proposals, we're witnessing the continuation of an ancient tradition almost as old as the senators themselves. Time for your daily high five, our top 5 fun facts about ancient Rome. Number 1. The Romans invented a type of super concrete that could harden underwater and has lasted for millennia. The Romans were master builders, and one of their greatest secrets was a unique recipe for concrete. By mixing volcanic ash, called pozzolana, with lime and seawater, they created a mortar that was incredibly strong and durable. This mixture triggered a chemical reaction that formed a stable rock-like substance. Unlike modern concrete, which erodes over time, Roman marine concrete actually grew stronger through continued exposure to seawater, as the salt water hydrated the lime and formed new interlocking crystals. This remarkable invention allowed them to build massive, long-lasting structures that were previously impossible, like harbors, bridges, and aqueducts. The most famous example of their concrete masonry is the Dome of the Pantheon in Rome. Completed around 126 CE, it remains the world's largest unreinforced concrete dome, a testament to the genius of Roman engineering that has survived for nearly 2,000 years. Number 2. The color purple was so expensive to produce that Only the emperor and senators could wear it. In ancient Rome, the most prestigious color was a deep reddish purple known as Tyrian purple. This vibrant dye wasn't made from plants or minerals, but from the mucus of a specific type of sea snail called the murex. The process was really difficult and a bit smelly. It took the glands of thousands of tiny snails, some sources say as many as 10,000, just to produce enough dye for the trim of a single toga. Because of this labor intensive process, Tyrian purple was ounce for ounce more valuable than gold. The color became the ultimate status symbol, a concept known as a sumptuary law. At first, only Roman generals celebrating a triumph could wear it. Later, its use was restricted to senators who wore a purple stripe on their togas. By the time of the empire, the color became so synonymous with power that the phrase to don the purple meant to become emperor. That legacy has stuck with us even today. Many still associate the color purple with royalty and luxury. Number 3. The Romans believed left-handed people were unlucky and untrustworthy, which is where we get the word sinister. In Roman culture, there was a strong superstition against the left side. The right hand was the hand of honor, contracts, and good faith, which is why we still shake with our right hands. The left side, though, was associated with weakness and bad omens. In the Roman practice of augury, where priests would interpret the will of the gods by observing birds, birds appearing on the left were considered a bad sign. This cultural bias was reflected even in their language. The Latin word for left, or on the left side, is sinister. Because of the Romans' negative superstitions, this word gradually took on the meaning of unlucky, inauspicious, and eventually evil or malicious. The word passed from Latin into French and then into English, carrying its negative connotation with it. Number 4. Our modern calendar is a direct descendant of the one created by Julius Caesar. If you've ever wondered why our year has 365 days, 12 months, and a leap year, you can thank the Romans. Before Julius Caesar, the Roman calendar was a bit of a confusing mess. It was based on the lunar cycle, but it was often manipulated for political reasons. In 46 BCE, Caesar introduced the Julian calendar, a solar-based system designed with the help of astronomers. It established the year as 365.25 days, accounting for the quarter day by adding a leap day every 4 years. This calendar was so accurate and effective that it became the standard for much of the world for over 1,600 years. And many of the names of our months come from ancient Rome. For instance, July is named after Julius Caesar himself, and August is named after his successor, Emperor Augustus. And our fifth and final fun fact for today, in ancient Rome, a unibrow was considered a high fashion statement and a sign of intelligence. While many people today might reach for the tweezers, in ancient Rome, the unibrow, or frons unita, was a highly desirable feature, especially for women. It was seen as a mark of great beauty and, more importantly, a sign of superior intelligence and a noble spirit. The most fashionable and elite women of Rome coveted this look so much that those who weren't naturally blessed with a connected brow would find creative ways to fake it. To achieve the desired unibrow, Roman women would use dark powders like soot or coal to paint a line connecting their eyebrows. There are some accounts even suggesting they would go so far as to create a sort of artificial unibrow. They would use sticky tree resin to glue on small patches of dyed goat hair, carefully placing it between their brows to create that perfect, intellectual, and beautiful single brow. Now for some news you can use. If you want to gain a better understanding of ancient Roman art and the Roman world more broadly, You want to be mindful that what you see on display in museums isn't always the most accurate picture. When we picture Roman art, we almost always imagine elegant, pure white marble statues. That clean, classical look has influenced artists for centuries, but it's based on a misunderstanding. The Romans, in reality, lived in a vivid world, bursting with color, and their statues were no exception. Here's a little insight that can change the way you see ancient Roman art. Those old marble statues weren't meant to look like just the white of the marble. Roman artists painted their sculptures in elaborate, vibrant, and incredibly lifelike colors, a practice called polychromy. Over the last 2,000 years, the elements have worn away all the original paint, leaving behind the bare stone we see today. But thanks to modern science, historians and archaeologists can use UV light and other technologies to detect tiny trace amounts of ancient pigments still clinging to the marble. Using this data, they create stunning digital reconstructions of what the statues originally looked like. So, the most practical hack to see Roman art through ancient Roman eyes would be actually to go online. A quick search for Roman statue digital color reconstruction or Augustus of Prima Porta color will show you these masterpieces as they were originally intended to be seen. It's a fascinating bit of irony. A digital image on your screen can give you a more historically accurate view than standing in front of the real thing in the museum. Now for the moment you've been waiting for. At the beginning of the episode, I asked if the Romans really had vomitoriums, special rooms for getting sick during a feast so they could come back and eat some more. It's sort of a funny story, but it's also a fallacy. The Romans did have vomitoriums, but they had nothing to do with food. A vomitorium was actually a large passageway or corridor in an amphitheater like the Colosseum or some other theaters. The name comes from the Latin word vomere, which means to spew forth. These passages were designed so that huge crowds of tens of thousands of people could exit the stadium quickly and efficiently after a show. The building would appear to be spewing people out into the streets. This misconception likely arose in the 18th or 19th century from a misunderstanding of the word combined with exaggerated stories of Roman decadence. While some wealthy Romans may have overindulged at their banquets, the idea of a dedicated, purpose-built room for vomiting is a modern invention. The Romans were expert engineers, but they used their skills for aqueducts and amphitheaters, not for, well, making themselves sick. Now, I hope you enjoyed learning a bit about ancient Rome with me today. Be sure to tune in every weekday for even more fun facts. Fun Facts Daily is an Airwave Media podcast. It was written, recorded, mixed, and edited by me, Kyle Wood. Thanks for sharing a part of your day with me. Be sure to follow Fun Facts Daily on your favorite podcast app so you can keep the good stuff coming your way every day. And if you like the show, please do me a favor and leave a kind rating, review, or just tell your friends about it.